Is that the distance that your shot goes, it depends on the club, the loft. It also depends on the size of your swing. This is going to be true in putting too. People think it's about how hard you hit it. It's very hard to regulate how hard you hit a ball or how hard you hit a putt. The way you regulate distance is the size of your swing. So I think about my ankles, middle of my shins, my knees, middle of my thighs, my hips, my chest, and my shoulders. So if I go knee height, I want to come through to knee height. Does that make sense? If I go shoulder height, I want to come through to shoulder height. Which one's going to go farther? So bigger swing. Sometimes I just want to do a little ankle to ankle, okay, or shin to shin. That's going to be a little guy, but you give it full amount. Now, I always say that every shot should add up to 100. It comes to a nice round number. Back swing, follow through. 50% back, 50% through, adds up to 100. We have a lot of shots that are like 80% back and like 40% through. At 120, it was out of proportion. Or 70% back and 90% through. You're going to kill it. Or 70% back. And so many golfers have had lessons. They're kind of feet are too straight. They're going like this to get grounded. But you know what? You can go like this and miss the center. When you get in your center, you pull those knees in. Now the knees go out like this. It's very difficult to turn. Because you've sort of got two vectors. You're going out here. You got one going this way where energetically you're trying to go here, but this going here. This one's going here, but you're trying to come here. So you're going against. No KiAi. If we pull our knees in a little bit, wait on the insteps a little bit, guess what happens? Now it's easy to turn that way, and now it's easy to turn that way. So many golfers have their feet too straight. It's a square. Very hard to turn from a square. Triangles are stable like squares, but they also spin. They turn. So we want it toes out, knees in a little bit. When you have your, so many people are like sit on a bar stool and bend your knees. They're like this. It's like you're not riding a horse and having a drink. And you wonder why you don't have extension and why you can't turn, and why you don't have balance. So that's one issue. And we'll want to just stabilize your legs to turn a little bit more. And you notice that you were quite out of balance at the end. Yeah. So we're going to want to work with you, and
I haven't played for a while.
Cool. You know what? This is so not criticism, and what things one person does, we all do. So we'd like to get her hand over a little bit more. Grip trainer's just going to help her hands get her grip get a little bit better. She's got her feet pretty straight and knees out like this a bit, so it's a little bit harder to turn than it needs to be. Because of that, you'll see she really does this exaggerated thing with her knee. Once she gets her feet in the right place, and LPGA, she's going to be able to turn better. She's also a little bit upright at the ball. We like to have a little bit more bend here, a little flatter back. Put your chest into my hand. Oh, see that? So that's working them muscles. And now she's addressed to the ball better. Pull your knees in a bit, in towards, no. She wants to go down like this. Yeah. You all want to go down like this. You want to go in like that. In. Okay? That's going to get you centered around the club. It's going to get you stable here, and it's going to allow you to turn more easily. Okay? Minor things based on major principles. And this creates what we call spinal angle. You want this to be flat, not like this. When we have a spinal angle, it's like, you know those globes you put on your desk, and then you can spin them? It has to have that sort of straight needle. And so that's your spine when you talk about spinal axis. That's why you don't want to be like this. Good spinal axis, rotate around it, swing, and go for it. And that's okay, stay there. The other thing we're going to work on is, you can see she had to follow through with her arms. We're going to want her to come through with her feet more. And if you turn your heel, that's what that did to her hip. This heel is a lever for your hip. And that allows your shoulders to turn, your club to come through, and finish when it's beautiful. Now she looks like she's on tour. She's sort of smallish. And so she really, she's going to make herself bigger. Yeah, get way out of here. Really big wide stance.
I know. I know they do that.
No, that's cool. But, you might find that by narrowing your stance a little and your knees in there really well so that you'll really gather your power here. And what we're trying to do in the golf swing is get that all centered. And then as you turn, this foot stays down. Now yours kind of comes up, and you see she gets over here. Remember I talked about the belt loop going out here? We want her to stay put more and rotate. What you're trying to do in the golf swing, so this foot stays down on the way back, and look at this. This leg stays exactly as it is. It doesn't do anything. You shouldn't do anything. Just like this. And I get the feeling, see this? This leg has stayed, and you sort of pile up all your power and energy on the inside of your leg and into your back hip. So you're taking your center, you're just going over here, but see I've loaded up on the back leg. and then you push with that instep and knee, and then this turns completely. What people do is they unload, and then they, no, that's the best backwards. This looks down on the way back, keep this leg steady, and then load up and push off. He's looking at his fingernails more than I'd like him to, and this is probably some body flexibility issues. He kind of stands way like this. He cheats out a little bit. Not bad, some people do, when you do that more in a chipping motion. He's doing that to make it easier to come through. I don't know if you know you're doing it.
Yeah.
And then he really sits down. So rather than sitting down, and then you kind of start with this cock in your hand. I'd like to see you, if at all possible, get this, even if you don't square this up so much, but instead of so much sitting down like this and this, I'd like to see this get a little more square, this a little more upright, a little more knees, and so that then you can actually turn a little bit better. But your tempo's beautiful.
I'm not sure I can change my grip.
We'll try.
This way.
You know, changing your grip feels like
it's been this way for a while.
you may not be able to, and
For a
nobody
long time.
absolutely has to, but it could help a little bit.
I'm sure it could.
He really sits down. Oh, messing him up. But you know, he sits down a lot. You sit down a lot, and then you lift up and crank up. So it would be interesting. And you can always, remember, you can always go back to what you were doing. But you might want to try this. And it may not work instantaneously, and to make changes takes some time. And it takes a little while for the neural pathways to change and the habits to feel better. But came up. Okay. So for you can see her backswing's way over here. Can you see that? So we're going to want to work you a little bit more out the target line, because she's kind of way offline here. When you're way back here, which you are, it's very hard to get back to the ball very well. And your setup's a little like this. So kind of hurt yourself. So we're going to just work on your setup for success, more extension out the line, and then getting that back knee so you can really throw the ball.
The one thing I hate about golf versus other sports is there's always someone watching you. When I go ride my bicycle, nobody's watching.
And this is really nasty, but I do this on purpose too, because this is what it's like. It's that pressure, that performance, and we go into a certain kind of fear and anxiety.
Right.
And we're going to learn KiAi golfers to spin and do what we need to do. You do something rather interesting, which is what we call a reverse pivot. She kind of goes down like this. Did you see that? It's a reverse pivot, so her weight's going forward. And then with that, and then this kind of comes up. Hard to drop it back down into position. If we could get you, which we're going to work on turning more, instead of going this way, if we get her turning a little bit better and extending the club back, she'll have a better turn. And she can come in and use the body better to come through. That's very nice. Very nice. But you'll see that she's getting it done with her arms, and that's cool. You can she'll get a certain amount. You get a certain amount done, and that was really nice. And she's got a feeling of coming through the ball. Love it. Beautiful. Basically a good arc to her swing. But imagine if she gets a little more foundation and starts using her legs. And you saw at the end, she just did it all with her arms. She didn't really do this. So when we get that going, and she's already got that going on, and think about it, your arms have a certain amount of power, but doesn't this look better? You know, you need to be the redwood tree and have the strong core roots. And all the other thing is that the knowledge, the information is really in here. These guys kind of don't know what to do or where to go, but if you found it here, now they know exactly where to go. I'm going to show you how to hook up the lower to the upper body. So very nice. Thank you.